No matter what age you are, beauties and cuties, we always have our inner child within us. No matter if you're 13, 33, or 63 years old, that inner child is not going anywhere. And I think that's a beautiful thing. And it's so important for us to always nurture and tend to this inner child, because the way you treat your inner child will truly heal you in more ways than one. Will allow you to open up to the world and treat others so much more kinder and with more love. Because when you tend to that inner child, that love is the purest form of self-love that anyone can give to themselves. And in this video, beauties and cuties, I am going to tell you 5 ways to tend to your inner child, because they're in there somewhere. They are always with you. So the first way to tend to your inner child is to engage in playful activities. Like I said, no matter if you're like 13, 33, 63, 88 years old, whatever age you may be, play and playfulness is an innate human thing that we all need. It is a need that we all have to fulfill. And honestly, everything that we do in this world is to feel more fun. We want to eat ice cream because it's a fun, pleasurable thing to do. We want to go to the movies and watch a cool movie because it's fun. We want to travel because it's fun. We want to go to parties because it's fun. Everything we do is to seek more fun. But the type of play that I'm talking about is play, like literal play. Whether it's riding a bike, running around in the beach and playing with your dog, playing with your baby sister or cousin, any form of play that you define for yourself, make sure you're allotting enough needed time for that. Because I feel like a lot of adults grow cold and grow bitter in life because they don't allow themselves to play as often. And whenever you play, you connect and you bond with your inner child. And your inner child wants to play, okay? So give yourself and your inner child that time to play and make that a priority. The second way to tend to your inner child is to practice a lot of self-compassion. When we're kids, our parents, our loved ones, whoever our caretakers are, treat us very sweet and kind, hopefully. But for the most part, they're supposed to. And that can be shown in a way of like, you know, complimenting a child or making a child feel seen. Or if a child like shows you a picture they drew, you tell them what a great job they did. Show yourself more compassion in those ways. By celebrating small or big wins, that's a great way to tend to your inner child. Because your inner child does seek that validation, especially from yourself. And when you acknowledge that, you make your inner child feel soothed, feel loved, feel accepted, feel seen. And that is a huge thing that you want to do for yourself. And just speak more kindly to yourself. If you were to meet your child's self, how would you speak to them? You wouldn't speak to them as rude as you do to yourself with your self-deprecating comments that you make for yourself. You wouldn't say that to a child. At least I hope you don't. And so treat yourself the way you would treat a small and gentle child, with kindness, with love, with support, with positive energy. And that will make your inner child thrive, beauties and cuties. The third way to tend to your inner child, beauties and cuties, is to practice creative expression. Creative expression kind of falls under the umbrella of play, but I put it in its own category because creativity is innately such a childlike thing that we do. Our imaginations were wild when we were kids. At least for me it was. I was such an imaginative child. I liked to play with clay. I loved to play with Legos. I liked to draw and color. Those were my favorite creative mediums to do. And when you create for creativity's sake, you are tending to that inner child. Because again, it's a form of play, but also you're exercising imagination, which is a core fundamental attribute of childhood that we should honestly exercise and carry with us all the way into adulthood. Imagination also is such a human thing. And when you cultivate creativity and imagination, you are truly allowing yourself to express yourself. If you want to make music, if you want to play an instrument, if you want to do ceramics, that is all forms of creativity that will feed your inner child. and make them feel seen and feel like they are having a lot of positive impact with you in your adulthood. That creativity will make you feel like you are doing something worthy, because you are doing something worthy when you're doing it for yourself. The fourth way to tend to your inner child is literally practice self-care. Now, I literally am the CEO of self-care, but I once wasn't. I actually would neglect myself really bad. There was a point in time in my younger adolescence, I was very active. I did running and martial arts, but I literally did not care about my feet. But it got stinky down there, and I ended up getting some foot fungus for a little while. And so into adulthood, it's so important to make sure you are upkeeping your physical body, because when we're children, our parents take care of us. At least for the most part, like our parents or whoever takes care of us. As a little child, they give you baths, they clip your toenails, they make sure your clothes are all laundried. But when you get into adulthood and you start venturing towards independence, you have to make sure you're doing those things for yourself. You have to make sure you are making sure that your body is clean, that your health is up to par, because you won't have your parents around forever. You have to be your own parent in that regard of self-caring for yourself. And that is one of the most physical ways to tend to your inner child, is to pamper yourself. Know that this pampering will heal your inner child. And the fifth and final and most underrated way to tend to your inner child is literally touch base with yourself. Touch base with how you feel. I have this app called How We Feel, and it was introduced to me by a friend, and it's basically an app that shows you the different emotions. And there's daily check-ins every morning and every evening of how you feel. And I love this app. This video is not sponsored, by the way, but this app really allows me to self-reflect on how I'm feeling. When we are children, we're very emotional beings. We throw temper tantrums, or we have so much hyperactive energy, and we are constantly feeling. But I feel like into adulthood, not a lot of us are in touch with our emotions. And sometimes we run so autopilot that we don't know what we're feeling. So it's good to touch base with your inner child and ask yourself, how am I feeling? Identify those feelings and then work through it and process it. Do things that will allow you yourself to express these emotions, whether it be venting on a phone to a friend or journaling your emotions and what you're feeling in that point in time. When you do this, you allow your inner child to emotionally regulate itself, and that will allow you to not hold on to so much resistance and so much dark emotions. You can allow yourself to free up a lot of emotional space to feel lighter. And so, beauties and cuties, these are the 5 ways to tend to your inner child. Always remember that your inner child is forever with you until the day that you Anyways, I love you so much, beauties and cuties. I hope this video helped you out. Stay beautiful and cutiful, and I'll see you in the next video. Yeah, you. I love you.